The Arsenic Cooking channel. Today I'll show you how to make a ragu from a cauliflower. I receive it every single month from Imperfect Produce, and some people don't know what to do with it. Well, today I'll show you what to cook that you can eat and it's delicious. First, we're gonna cut an onion. If you don't wanna cry, do not cut this stem off. First, we'll take the skin off. That sounds pretty gruesome, but believe me, it's not. And if you cut it this way, believe me, you're not gonna cry from cutting the onion. Alright, and now I'll show you how to cut an onion. Okay, make sure you leave this on. Okay, don't forget like that. And your favorite chopping knife is at work. Okay, that's it. And now this part. And now we're gonna saute it in a pan. I'm gonna add my olive oil. And first I need to turn on the stove. All right. Let's heat it up. Put it all the way on the high. Add more olive oil. You can use any kind of oil, but I mean olive oil is usually the best for sauteing. You can also use avocado or sunflower, whatever suits you. But I noticed that sunflower oil actually doesn't have any flavor, doesn't add any flavor to the things that you are sauteing. So it's another thing to keep in mind. All right. And while this is heating up, I'm also going to you can shred the carrot or you can cut it. So first I'm going to peel the skin off, make sure there is nothing rough that will go into the ragu. I can even use the peeler to cut off this unnecessary part. It's much faster. Or you can just cut it off with the knife. Now let's take the onions to the pan. So it doesn't stick, you can go like that. Decrease the heat, and let's go back to the cutting board. So now we have a carrot. You can shred it. I don't feel like shredding it right now, so what I'm gonna do is cut it manually. Here is what it will look like. Cut it into small strips. Just like that. The thinner the better if you are in a hurry. Just keep it this one. And here you go, it's done. Let's take the second half and do the same thing. Like I said, if you don't want to do that, feel free to use the shredder, feel free to use the automated machines, whatever other tools you have at your disposal. And make sure you have a sharp knife. Having a sharp knife is the most important part in the kitchen. And believe it or not, sharper knives actually prevent accidents, such as, the knife slipping and cutting you, or, other things like that. All right, that's done. So we're gonna wait to saute the onions. I think they're done. They already had colored a bit. So once you see them start turning into this caramel color, feel free to add the carrots and then pepper. Carrots go in, and next thing is pepper, which I'm gonna cut in a second here. Carrots go in, and now the pepper. The best pepper to use would be orange. I have a red one here because I ran out of orange one. I used it for my soup before. So red is good too. I would not use green one because green one is not sweet and not as tasty. Okay. Remove the seeds. Well, as much as you can. And the best way to cut a pepper is make sure you turn the kind of glossy side down and cut it like that, because it's easier for the knife to pierce through the vegetable from this side. You can cut it in squares. I would cut it to the bite size. That is, how many pieces, couple of pieces should fit on your fork or your spoon. And don't forget about the sauteing onions and carrots. Make sure they do not turn into charcoal. So while I'm cutting it, I'm also going back to the pan, making sure that everything is cooking properly. Feel free to add more oil because the vegetables have a tendency to absorb it. So you will notice that it will, go away. So add more oil if needed and continue sauteing it until you see the oil turning into the yellowish color, which means that the oil had absorbed the flavor of the vegetables, and you can add pepper. And saute it for 4 to 5 minutes until the onion and carrots and everything else is golden color. Okay, while this is sauteing, I'm going to prepare a couple of other ingredients so they're ready for use. So I'm going to use tomato paste. It's better to use that as opposed to ketchup because it's a different, composition, different ingredients. So I'm going to use tomato paste and I'm going to add milk. So I'm going to use this expensive organic milk I got at Whole Foods, and we just need 150 milliliters. So I'm going to pour it into this measuring cup. ,150 milliliters. And for tomato paste, we'll just need to use 1 tablespoon. Oh, I have a tablespoon right here, but looks like it's not gonna fit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a smaller teaspoon and add it to the table one. You can also use measuring spoons as well, if it's easier for you. Oh, look at that color. You can see this is getting ready. Now we're gonna add tomato paste and milk. So as I said, I'm not gonna use the measuring spoon, I'm just gonna use the teaspoon to put it into the tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon of tomato paste and 150 milliliters of milk. And now we're going to mix it all together and let it sit under medium to high heat until it is warm. Once you see it start, like the milk starts bubbling, you'll notice that you will know it's reached a desired temperature. So it should not be lukewarm, it should not be cold, it should be hot, almost reaching the boiling point. So usually what I do is I reduce the heat and let it sit while I'm cutting the cauliflower. So now let's move back to the cutting board and I'm gonna cut cauliflower. So I'm probably gonna use just half of it because it's gonna be a little too much if I add the whole thing. So now I'm going to cut the cauliflower. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll look for the stem and I'll start cutting it along the stem line. Okay, so that way I don't miss even a single piece of it. Okay, this can be thrown away. And there you go. You can also do it manually by peeling each stem off with your hands, with your fingers, but I mean, this is gonna be much faster. Okay, since it kind of breaks apart into smaller and larger pieces, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a different tool to pick this all up and put it in a pan. Here's another tool I have. It's better than using this chopper knife. And I'm going to scoop this up and, well, actually let me cut these pieces more so they are not as large, so they fit on your spoon or your fork when you're going to eat it. I'm going to cut this one as well. And now this is all going to go in a pan. Yeah, I think half of the cauliflower should be enough. Usually what I do is the way I measure it, as long as the cauliflower kind of covers the entire surface, that should be enough. Yep, should be good. Okay. Now I added it, like I said, it needs to cover the entire surface, and we're gonna mix it all together. And then we're gonna cover it and cook it for additional 10 minutes. So let's make sure we mix it all together so all of the cauliflower pieces are covered. No need to add anything right now in terms of salt and pepper. We'll add that later. Cover it, mark your clock, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. We're back. Now we need to add salt and pepper. Oh my god, smells amazing already. Now, of course, for the perfect taste, we need to add salt and pepper. The cauliflower is almost ready. The sauteed vegetables are ready as well. So now it's just a matter of seasoning. Feel free to add other seasonings of your choosing. You can also add cayenne pepper. I usually do that. But for today, we're just gonna use salt and pepper. Gonna stick it to the classics. Perfect. We're going to mix it one more time and cover with the lid and let it sit and cook for another 5 minutes. It's gonna be nice and a healthy afternoon meal. It's gonna be, could be a light dinner. You can even eat it with the wine. It pairs well with anything. Cover it and we'll be back in 5 minutes again. 5 minutes have passed, and now all you need to do is turn off the heat and let this sit under the closed lid for additional 10 minutes, and then it's ready to eat. Our ragu is ready. Let's get the plate, the fork, and start enjoying it. All right. Mm, smells like a ragu. Now let's put it on a plate and start enjoying it. You see, cauliflower cooks super fast. And although I'm not a big fan of cauliflower, this meal I eat it every time. And it's gone within a day. Yep, that's how much I'm gonna eat it. Probably even more. Let's add more. Couple of more pieces, and we are ready to go. It pairs well with anything, but I love to eat it with the Russian black rye bread. Let me get one piece. And that's what I call a meal. Mm. So good, so light, and the main thing, just purely delicious. Thank you for watching, and until next time on the Arsenic Cooking channel. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and find me next time on the Arsenic Cooking channel.